be disappointed. I'm probably gutted. I'm something has to change, but I don't know who knew what. I'm thinking, why doesn't it just come out now then? You know, I knew, and I'm hearing everybody else is saying they've only just found out. It's fake.
There was an adverse finding of a trace substance in one of Conor Benn's VADA tests. Both guys for this fight signed up to various different agencies.
Literally attempted murder, and they wanted me to be an accomplice to it. They were asking me to take money to come onto the zone and be a...
Conor Benn's collapse, how a redemption story became boxing's latest scandal. The uproar surrounding Conor Benn's latest failed drug test has sent shockwaves through the boxing world. What was supposed to be his redemption story, a triumphant return in his long-awaited rematch with Chris Eubank Jr., has descended into...
I always say, it don't matter what drug you take, it doesn't make you a better fighter. It might make you stronger, it might make you fit. It doesn't make you a better fighter. That's proof. You know, so until more news comes out, you just got...
Yet another public disaster. This isn't the first time Benn's reputation has been tested. He's already failed 2 previous drug tests. But just a week before fight night, news broke of a 3rd positive result.
The British Boxing Board of Control aren't. So we have to speak with them, deal with the legal situation and see where it lands. And this is quite fresh. Obviously, I don't even think it's 30 minutes. I think it's more like 10 or 15 minutes since that. And, you know, we'll see.
For many fans, this wasn't just another controversy. It was the breaking point. The outrage didn't feel sudden. It felt overdue. Suddenly, the focus shifted. Chris Eubank Jr., who had quietly prepared for the fight amid the noise, found himself standing tall in the chaos, composed, clean, and vindicated.
Man, you know, it's a shame that we have something now that kind of muddies the story, if anything.
The contrast between the two could not be sharper. Benn's name is now tangled in scandal, while Eubank's image gleams brighter than ever. The disciplined professional, the man who never wavered. Promoter Eddie Hearn, long the face of Benn's public defense, now finds himself managing damage.
So from a business perspective, it kind of makes sense because everybody gets paid. But is Derek Chisora a real threat to Tyson Fury? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Is Tyson Fury going to steamroll him and beat him again? I'll put my house on it.
Damage control. We've got to deal with the legal situation and see where it lands, he said during a hastily called media scrum. The shock was still fresh. The revelations had surfaced barely 15 minutes earlier. But the reality was unavoidable. This 3rd failed test...
Put the belts in the river and give Deontay Wilder another shot, and Joshua, because none of them's worthy of it. None of them. And I've said it first, he doesn't need the money. He's won everything. If they're not proper fighting men, let them get on. Jog on, my friend.
You think either one of them makes their way back to a world title?
Who?
Might destroy Benn's career for good. Eubank Jr.'s reaction was strikingly calm. He didn't rage, accuse, or gloat. Instead, he reminded everyone of the facts. He's passed every test, year after year, including during off-seasons and holidays. No shortcuts. No.
This morning, I'm just slowly coming up. One of my colleagues, Jeremy Wilson's doing it for the Telegraph. He's the drugs expert or the doping expert on the desk, and I think there was something like 14 supplements that he was using.
Scandals. His tone was measured but confident. He didn't have to shout. The truth spoke for itself. The man many once doubted now looks like the symbol of professionalism. Former world champion Duke McKenzie didn't hold back. He called Benn's behavior disrespectful, not just to the sport.
You know, the Conor failed a drug test. That is a fact. It's not been denied anywhere. You know, there's lots of talk about, you know, let's see how this works out, and, you know, he's entitled to get his day and so forth. Well, it should be dealt with very quick.
But to his own father. Those are heavy words from a man who understands boxing's moral code. Nigel Benn, Conor's father, built his name on grit, heart, and authenticity. To see that legacy shadowed by 3 failed tests feels like betrayal. McKenzie's disappointment echoed across generations of fighters.
Getting caught, and it's just horrible. Genuinely, and I know you were about saying, without going fucking fully mental here, I just believe if you're caught with any performance-enhancing drug, you should be banned.
Who earned their glory through sweat and pain, not artificial enhancement. Even John Fury, usually diplomatic in boxing disputes, couldn't ignore the gravity of it. With his old-school toughness, his verdict was simple. Ban him if it's true. Coming from a man who values integrity above all, those words carried weight. Fury's reaction showed how rotten this situation has become. When even the most neutral voices are calling for bans, something fundamental is broken. As Benn's image crumbles, Eubank Jr. rises quietly, almost effortlessly. In a sport often...
Drugs don't make you a better fighter. Drugs may make you a little stronger, may make you a little, give you a bit more energy, but it don't make you technically smart. It doesn't give you all of that. You know, so those drug cheats that do it purposely, you've got to remember, you know, why are you doing it? What difference is it going to make? It's going to make you like a boxing Einstein?
Polluted by excuses and loopholes, he stands as the embodiment of discipline and focus. The more this scandal grows, the stronger his reputation becomes. Respected journalist Gareth A. Davies revealed the most disturbing detail yet. Tests reportedly found traces of 14 different supplements in Benn's system. A doping expert is now analyzing the mixture, but even without full clarity, the implications are damning. This isn't a one-off mistake. It's a pattern. A repeated failure that suggests something far deeper than negligence. Promoter Frank Warren didn't mince words either. A failed test is a failed test, he said flatly. There's no sugarcoat.
As a brutal war, just brilliant.
Should Mark McCauley have been in the ring, do you think? A lot of people saying...
Listen, hindsight's unbelievable. But if you ask Martin McCauley now, who's probably got about 3 million bank, should he be in the ring, he's going to say, yeah, 100%.
Next week.
Because at the end of the day, listen, this is boxing. The prize fighters, they're in it to earn money. And when they retire
coding it. His tone carried the authority of a man who's seen too many scandals. For him, this isn't about rivalry or promotion. It's about the sport's integrity. Warren demanded immediate intervention from governing bodies. Enough is enough, he said. Then Carl Frampton entered the conversation, his frustration boiling over. The former two-weight world champion called for lifetime bans for fighters who repeatedly fail drug tests. You're not just cheating, he said. You're putting lives at risk. His words hit the heart of the matter. In boxing, one clean punch can change a life forever.
This is very unforgiving. You can't, I'm sorry. Provided he's been found, it's 100% that those substances were found in his system, it's unforgiving. And you know what, I blame the governing bodies because I don't believe that they imposing heavy enough
When a doped fighter steps into the ring, he's not just bending rules, he's endangering another human being. Frampton's comments resonated across social media, sparking a wave of anger and disappointment. From that moment, Benn's reputation took another devastating blow. Eubank Jr., by contrast, looked more heroic than ever. Every headline that shredded Benn's credibility only lifted Eubank higher. He became the picture of integrity, a fighter succeeding through discipline, not deception. Johnny Nelson added another perspective, sharp and unsparing. No drug teaches timing. No pill gives you reflexes. No banned supplement replaces skill.
Difficult because everybody will plead their innocence. When you've got a kid that you've known for, 6, 7 years, who, virtually lives with Tony Sims, who is, a very close friend of mine, the most, 100% solid man in boxing, who spent 13, 14 weeks with his dad living in his house, who comes into your office, breaking down on the floor, pleading his innocence, looking you in his eyes, giving you every opportunity to tell you the truth. And when you see the facts, I believe that Conor Benn is innocent. Maybe it's because he's my mate, and maybe it's because you...
His message was simple but devastating. Even if Benn had been using enhancements, they hadn't made him better. He'd risked everything and gained nothing. If he's been cheating all this time, Nelson said, it didn't even work. Nelson's words cut to the core. Benn's supposed edge had never translated into ring intelligence or consistent performances. His power wasn't unstoppable. His tactics weren't genius. And now, with each failed test, his reputation for heart and hunger feels more like hollow marketing than truth. Meanwhile, Eubank Jr. continues to represent the opposite: discipline, precision, and self-belief. He's always trained like a man who has something to prove, but now he doesn't have to say a word. The contrast between his clean professionalism and Benn's chaos couldn't be more striking. Trainer Dave Coldwell spoke for the fans. His first reaction wasn't analysis or debate. It was exhaustion. Here we go again.
If it was me, take his license away. You know, because you cannot cheat in the sport of boxing. Not if you're going to put on a pair of gloves and get inside that square circle and physically fight somebody, and potentially you could easily lose your life, then to take anything which will give you enhance your performance, it's just.
He said, echoing the frustration of an entire sport. This wasn't a one-off scandal. It was a cycle. Fans feel insulted, he admitted. Every time Benn tests positive, the excuses come, the statements appear, but nothing changes. Coldwell tried to stay balanced, reminding everyone to wait for full details, but his voice betrayed the anger beneath. How many chances does one fighter get before the sport finally draws a line? Every failed test pushes Conor Benn further from his father's legacy. Nigel Benn's name was built on authenticity, on courage, not chemistry. And now, that legacy trembles under the weight of his son's repeated mistakes. Eubank Jr., by contrast, has emerged from the wreckage untarnished, the steady constant amid the chaos. In a time when trust in the sport feels fragile, he's become the symbol of what boxing still can be: pure competition, clean effort, and self-control. As one observer put it,
paid. Correct. This should not be their decision. The British Boxing Board of Control should be standing up and taking the voluntary anti-doping test seriously. Absolutely. Yes, I know that you work with the UK anti-doping, I know that, but this is a test. He's popped hot. Let's look into it properly. What happens what if something happens on Saturday night?
Absolutely.
What if we've already got a safety?
You can't cheat your way to greatness. You can only expose yourself trying. And in this unfolding scandal, Conor Benn's exposure feels total. Chris Eubank Jr. stands tall as Conor Benn's world collapses. Nigel Benn's legacy was built on courage, grit, and honor. He fought with emotion but carried himself with dignity, a fighter defined by authenticity. That legacy now feels painfully incompatible with his son's latest controversy. As Conor Benn's reputation crumbles under the weight of multiple failed drug tests, Chris Eubank Jr. looks mentally sharper, emotionally stronger, and more composed than ever. Trainer Don Charles didn't bother with diplomacy. "This is unforgivable," he said flatly. His message wasn't about promotion or business. It was about the sanctity of boxing itself. "This is a sport of life and death," Charles explained. "Every punch carries risk. If someone steps in chemically enhanced..."
It doesn't make you a better fighter. Might make you stronger, might make you fit. It doesn't make you a better fighter. That's proof. You know, so until more new...
That's not just cheating. It's endangering another human being's life. To Charles, 3 failed tests are not coincidences. They're a pattern. Evidence of a system that refuses to learn. He didn't just blame Benn, he blamed the governing bodies that failed to act decisively. If stronger punishment had been enforced the first time, maybe we wouldn't be here again, he warned. Each time Benn gets caught, outrage flares up, then fades, and business resumes as usual. That cycle, Charles said, will destroy trust in the sport. And while the outrage grows, Eubank Jr. remains untouched, an image of integrity amid chaos. Promoter Eddie Hearn's interviews reveal a man caught in an impossible position. He keeps mentioning personal ties, how long he's known Conor, how he's watched him grow up. But sentiment doesn't erase facts. His tone trembles between loyalty and frustration. He was crying, Hearn admitted, describing Benn's